The following is a rebroadcast of TV50's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Eaton 50 Sports and the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association present Candlepin Stars and Strikes. From Standings Bowling Lanes in Windham, featuring the best Candlepin bowlers in New England.
Split it. Look at this.
Yes! Oh, wow! Right in the pocket.
Oh, there was never a doubt about that one.
And now, your hosts, the Candlepin Stars and Strikes, John Brown, and filling in for Dan Murphy, Gary Duffy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to Sandy's. We are in Week 4 of this Ladder Championship Series, down to our final 3 bowlers. The winner this week will take on our number 1 seed, Jack Ray, for the Ladder Championship next week. And I have a feeling, Gary Duffett, that we may see some record-breaking performances either this week or next week.
I think we better get ready for World War III today. Mike Poulin is just an outstanding bowler and be a tremendous challenger today. And, of course, Steve's been doing everything he wants to do on the show.
All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers. First of all, our challenger coming in is the number 2 seed. This is the first time he's been with us in singles competition. Mike Poulin qualified in the final roll-off with a 665, and he will be providing the challenge today.
Oh, Mike's a lefty. He throws almost down the center of the lane, throws pretty hard, and he's exceptionally accurate. I think Mike will be there on just about every shot.
Mike was with us about a year and a half ago or so in doubles competition in a WCBC mixed doubles event, which he won with Carol Downey in 3 straight appearances. And today, of course, he'll be going up against a guy who's becoming increasingly tough to beat here at Sandy's. He's made 11 appearances on our show. He's won 8, lost 3. Steve Vadney.
Well, Steve is right at home here on the show. He just seems to be getting better and better all the time. Even when he has an off week, 396, it's not too hard to take. So I'm sure this week it's going to take 400 plus to win.
All right, we will see. And we will also see if we can perhaps give some lucky viewer a chance at $130 in the bonus ball contest. That'll be coming up at the end of the show, but we have 3 strings of bowling to get to before that, and we will start with string number 1 right after we start with these messages. Don't go away. This is the semifinal match of this Ladder Championship Series. Steve Vadney, the number 4 seed, has passed through 2 opponents already, knocking off Bob Francoeur 409 to 386 2 weeks ago, and then Jerry Myrick 396 to 350 last week. And so now it's Mike Poulin, the number 2 seed, with that 665 roll-off score. The winner of this one, of course, will move on and face number 1 seed Jack Ray for the Ladder Championship next week. Mike Poulin on lane 32.
Mike's really come into his own the last 3 years.
That's a pretty fair start.
He's got a tough double wood there. He's going to have to be careful. Try and hit that wood up fairly high and drive it straight back. One piece of wood that came out onto the plate.
And Bob Bover. Go down and check it out, and it is too far forward. Remember, if any part of the piece of wood is touching the dead wood line, which is 2 feet in front of the head pin, then the pin is removed. Give Mike a little better shot at this, and he gets it.
Good shot. Wasn't as easy as it looked.
We have a big crowd on hand here at Sandy's for this one.
Yeah, they come in and off the streets.
I imagine we'll have a similar large crowd for next week against Jack Ray.
Oh, you bet. Not too tough a shot for Mike here. Good quarter break.
He lofted that one up there pretty well and just kept it on the lane long enough to convert it for the spare, his second.
Yeah, he of course, Steve's done this too, so. See, it comes right off the wall, lands between the 2 pins. Does a little twisting action, takes them both out.
And now Steve Vadney with a light hit.
Now that is what I call a tough shot. Just going to have to go in and play either the right or the left of the 3 pin. Oh, he played the wood.
Watch out, watch out. This
Look at
may
this.
go. It will.
Well, so much for that. I learned a new one that time.
You just have to get the pins in motion sometimes. On the spare, an 8 drop.
I think this is going to be quite a match. Both bowlers appear to be ready for it. No doubt. Split them just the way you're supposed to.
2 spares each. Mike Poulin.
Mike's thin again, but gets a good break out of it. I hear the wood helped him out a little bit. Just wants to go in and play it to the left of the red line. Really has to worry about carrying the 7 pin more than any other pin.
Takes it
Good
out.
shot.
3 in a row for Mike Poulin in that WCBC Mixed Doubles Pro Bowlers Classic back in March and April of '85. Mike teamed with Carol Downey. They beat Paul Wambach and Lois Queen in the quarterfinals, 400 to 349. They then beat Jack Ray and Sharon Rawson in the semifinals, 353 to 344. And then in the finals, they knocked off Mike Sargent and Mary Legenza, 374 to 339. And Mike is doing just fine here in singles competition with 4 straight spares.
They're both right on, not missing any shots. Steve a little bit thin. Good mixing action. He's got the diamond. His ball will be breaking into this, which gives him a better chance at it.
Just slipping to the right.
Yeah. First opening.
I was wondering if we would ever see one there for a while. Oh, yes.
You can see that. That has bomb written all over it. Nice and tight in the 1-3 pocket. This just explodes the pins out of there. 4-pin, last one to get down.
This is on a spare again for Mike Poulin. 9 drop this time, his first.
Mike carrying the pins well.
Mike going down for a little closer look.
Yeah, he's going to have to play the wood. He really, it's the safest shot. As long as he doesn't cap the right-hand wood, he should be okay.
He's got it. 5 in a row.
One thing Mike does have to be careful of is he has a tendency to loft the ball out on the lane, especially when he's bowling well.
Looks like it might be better going down, but
First tough break, although this will go for him. Ball coming in from left to right. He's going to want to hit the right-hand end of that piece of deadwood, have the ball deflect into the 5-pin.
88.5 for Mike Poulin, and not this time. So Mike finally has an open frame.
You won't see these guys leave too many pins standing either.
Nancy Davis doing the big scoreboard for us again this week. I hope she has some extra markers over there. She may need them. This is on a strike.
Oh, that was a nice looking ball. Can go. He's just going to have to try and hit the 5-pin. Dead on.
Ooh. Thought that wood was frozen, but it was not.
Yeah,
And the
well-
5-pin is still there.
Got it.
16 pins the difference, with Mike Poulin in the lead after 5 completed frames. Two, 4, 7, 9.
Yeah, the thin hit has to play it as though the wood isn't even there.
Not quite.
Not quite, no. Just touched the wood on the way in. Mike is carrying those split hits. Wide open 2-pinner.
No. Well, that's the first shot he's really missed. First spare leave he's missed.
And he just barely missed it. Again, picking up the 10.
Mike works as an outside salesman for Chandler and Farquhar in Boston, which is right near Fenway Park.
It's the first bad ball he's thrown.
Mike lives in Hudson with his wife Judy, their 2 sons, Stephen and Tommy, and a 3rd child expected in April. And that's the first pin Mike has left up there. Steve Vadney lofted that one out a little bit farther than he normally would. Got a strike with it, though.
Another nice ball. They're solid in the 1-3 pocket.
And a double.
There's the double. He's starting to get warmed up now.
Oh, that'll erase the lead. Almost an answer.
Super ball. Blew those 9 pins out. 4-pin to pick up for a spare.
Right there.
Dead on.
Spare number 6 for Mike Poulin. Doesn't waste a heck of a lot of time. Right back to it.
Oh, this is going to be a nice shot. Nice shot. Mike's looking for some help here. He knows where to play it. He's going to go right in that little V, right where the red line is.
Plenty of wood down there. Oh, he took the cap and carried it anyway.
I didn't teach him that shot. And I'm sure he didn't play it exactly that way, but he was close to the target area. That's what counts.
145 plus
Just missed that head pin.
5 for a 150. Steve Vadney has a chance to top that, working on a double strike here. Looking for a turkey off the head pin.
Still got a good fill out of it. And another spare leave.
No.
Just missed it.
And a rare miss on a single.
Those are the ones to miss. The ones that aren't for spares. Needs a mark here.
Well, it'll be the 2-4-6.
Cut that over. The wood may help him a little bit.
Let's see. Yes!
Good shot. How to bowl a 150 and be down.
Well, it's about what we expected in this match, I think. And a 6 fill for a 153.
Now that was a nice game.
And a 3-pin lead for Steve Vadney. after one string. Don't go anywhere. This can only get better. We'll be right back. All right, Steve Vadney with a 3-pin lead to go in this middle string. I don't know if these guys can keep it up, but I wouldn't be surprised. 153 to 150, the first string.
Steve had 3 strikes and 3 spares. Those strikes really add up.
And not this time.
He's got to be on the pin here.
He is.
No doubt. Both bowlers extremely accurate. Generally won't beat themselves.
Well, an extra pin and some wood for the 4, 6, 7.
That pin didn't help him out very much. He's got a shot here. He'll either play way left or way right on that front wood. Went down to the left.
And just caught it, missing the front wood entirely. I don't know if he intended to do that, but it worked out for the spare.
Yeah. He might have seen that shot. On the slow-mo, you can see how it would go.
Back with Mike Poulin and a 9-drop.
Well, he had a bad piece of wood there for a minute, but now it's wide open to him.
Mike had 7 marks in the first string, all of them spares.
Right in the middle.
They get 8 spares now. A little light on the head pin and a 5.
Just a little. That extra speed that he had lifted the head pin right out and around the cluster.
Watch it. Yes.
Nice shot. Ball breaking from left to right. Cleaned him right out. Super shot.
In case you were wondering, there were no marks thrown during the commercial.
Well, this won't be too easy. A piece of wood went in there and really isn't going to help his shot out at all.
Yes.
Got it right on the outside. That's about all he could do with it. Steve just isn't going to let up. He's got him going. He doesn't want that wood in there.
He'll shoot at the 1-3.
Just aim for the head pin. Take your chances. Not what he planned to do.
Each bowler has left one. Mike Poulin has left 1 pin standing. Steve Vadney has left 2 in the match. Another 5-drop for Mike on the spare.
There's a difference there. Mike solid on the head pin, only gets 5. Steve misses the head pin, gets an 8-drop. Good try at the spare. And 10.
The lead right now for Steve Vadney is 15. He had 3 pins coming in, 12 more here in the second.
Mike shooting against an open this time. Again, not getting that extra mixing action on the thin hit. but this will go. Just try to hit the triangle on the right side. Almost.
A 9 box, and we will take a break. Through 4 frames of the second string, Steve Vadney has extended his lead to 16 pins, which is certainly not safe, I can guarantee you that. Not at this point. We'll be back with more on Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. Steve Vadney on the approach of lane 32 here at Sandy's. Light hit, but watch the 10 pin, it'll still stay.
No question.
He's been about as automatic on single pin spare leaves as anybody I can remember in recent memory here.
For spares, I don't think I've seen him miss one in his last 3 weeks. That's the ball he wants.
And yes!
You knew that wasn't done. He gets it into the 1-3 pocket. He's really driving him out. Here you see it coming in. Now this is a little bit thinner than some of the other 1-3 pocket hits he's had. Look at that head pin bouncing around on the plate.
Finally tripping out the set.
Now Mike is really the first one to show a chink in the armor here. He did that in the last 2 boxes. Missed the head pin, but got a spare leave.
And misses the head pin again.
Just missed it. Just a hair.
And it's still there.
In the meantime, Steve's starting to open up his lead.
It's now 27, halfway through the match. Right through the center that time.
He's not getting that extra pin now. Here he's going to go right at the 2 pin. Try and hit it either a little left or a little right. Hope to get some good mixing action. See if he goes for the safe 2 or tries to get them all.
Oh, he was trying for the whole
He
thing.
went for everything.
And wound up with a 6. Steve Vadney, in the meantime, with 5 marks through the first 6 here in the second string, working on a strike now.
Another thin hit. He doesn't want that wood to go off, but it did. This could be an interesting little shot. Play it up above the red line.
Ooh.
That was the pin he had to worry about most.
Another 10. Into that 1-3 pocket again, and there's the result.
Every time he's been there, he's gotten a strike. Tremendous mixing action. Here you see it almost identical to the shot we had before.
Mike Poulin waiting for a break.
Mike hitting thin, but just not getting the same kind of pin action that Steve does.
Piece of wood in the gutter almost came up and helped him out, but just a little bit short.
Another tough shot. Just a little bit too full on the 3 pin.
And a 9 for Mike, and he's been open 5 in a row now.
Well, he can easily come back and mark out. The thing he's got to do is he's got to start throwing some strikes so his ball just isn't working as effectively as Steve's. If this falls back, watch out. Oh.
3-5-6, the triangle.
Pin he really has to worry about is the 6-pin. No problem.
Steve Vadney comes up working on another strike, his 5th of the match. And Steve was distracted by a pin falling down and ruining the setup on 31. Spare lead.
Again, mixing them up well. It's hard to tell if that piece of wood is covering the 4-pin. If it is, he wants to go right around the red line, a little above.
It's not going to happen this time.
It wasn't covering it.
.140 with 1 to go.
Ho hum, another 150. Watch out.
There it is again, and again on lane 31. Has 3 strikes in a row on lane 31.
The balls are almost identical. This one a little bit tighter in the pocket. You can see that it drives straight through, takes out the 5 and the 8. Ball coming in on the 1-2, not quite as effective.
See if we can turn this one over. Not quite. 159. 312 after 2.
And again, he's got as many strikes as spares, just about.
This is on a spare for Mike Poulin, and not something really pleasant to shoot at. 5, 8, 10.
It's a good-looking ball going down there. Just didn't have the reaction. He's got a distracting piece of wood here. It really isn't going to come into play. He's just going to have to cut the 5-pin into the 10. Mike is good on these kind of shots.
Decides to sweep it and almost got away with it.
Amazing how we all have a tendency to play that wood when it's there. That was probably a tougher shot than trying to cut the 5-pin.
And right through with a 1-5-8 punch out. And as if things weren't bad enough for Mike, that just adds insult to injury.
Came close. Work this out for a 10.
Well, Steve Vadney is doing it again, and he has piled up a big lead after 2. For Steve Vadney, a 3-12, and for Mike Poulin, 2-59. We'll be back for the 3rd and final string when we return on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. Once again, here is what's at stake. Steve Vadney and Mike Poulin battling it out for the right to meet Jack Ray in our ladder championship match next week. Jack with that outstanding 725 roll-off.
And Mike needs marks, marks, marks.
He's still looking for his first strike. He has 10 spares. Well, let's wait a minute. Nope, not quite enough. Piece of wood rolled over. Not quite enough momentum to knock over the 4-pin.
It's strange, too, because Mike is noted for throwing a lot of strikes. And this house happens to be a good house for strikes.
And a 9 drop again.
He's just got to keep hanging tough there and keep making these spares. Got that one out there.
Yeah, he did loft that one out there, but not a lob, and just hung on long enough to take the 5-pin out. Steve Vadney is a cinch to get another 400. At least I don't think Steve will throw an 87 game.
Well, if he's got to look at 10 of these, he might. But all you can do here is work it out for a 9. See if you can make the 7-10.
Maybe some other time. Well,
it is.
Lane 31, that's now 4 in a row on lane 31, not counting the fill.
That's what you call having the lane groove. Look at that mixing action.
And there is Mike Poulin's first strike.
That's the one he wanted. Now he could just as easily had a triple, and then we could have had a new ball game. Just keep banging that head pin. Oh, you got a break. Got a break here. Just needs to touch the head pin. Wait for that wood.
The 1-7. Yes.
Right on.
Steve Vadney now with 7 spares and 7 strikes. So he has once again tied the record for most strikes in a match here on Stars and Strikes.
With a long way to go.
He's now done it twice.
This match is not over yet.
4 weeks ago, Steve had 7 strikes in that 466 triple that he had. 6 others have thrown 7 strikes in a match here. Mike Brutzos, Peter Flynn, Bob Bergman, Steve Johnson, Bob Kelly, and Rick Farwell.
Super 10. That's what keeps you from getting in trouble. Working out of those possible 6 or 7 boxes into 10s.
Mike Poulin has picked up 24 pins on the lead, though. It's down to 29 all of a sudden. And Steve Vadney is going to have a tough split to shoot at. The 3-7 with no wood.
Coming off the wall. Look at this.
Don't go away. Wow. We will break right here. We will break right here with Steve Vadney and Mike Poulin both working on spares, and it's not over yet. Don't go away.
Here's a replay of Steve's last shot. He should be cutting this on the right-hand side of the 3-pin. Instead, he clips it on the left side, off the sidewall, bounces right back across the plate, slides over, kisses the 7-pin goodbye.
That pin, that 3-pin, went up very high on the sidewall. Just clipped it a little bit. Good enough for the spare, and This match, although there was a 53-pin difference coming in, is still in doubt. As Mike Poulin has started to string them together here.
Solid ball in the pocket. Shouldn't have any trouble with this. It's that red line of that wood.
Just stayed on the lane long enough.
Just played it a little too safe there for a minute.
15 marks for Mike Poulin. Each bowler now with 15. Oh boy.
That was the only way they were going to stop him.
That's a 91.5. Takes the inside route.
Watch this.
Wow. Got him dancing, didn't he?
He sure did. We got that, the last pin rolled just the wrong way. If that had head towards the 10 pin, that would have been exciting.
And even 100 after 6.
Well, Steve just needs 1 or 2 marks to stay with him. Keep that 20 pin plus lead going.
And it's a 9 drop.
He's not about to let up. He's got to wait for that wood so it doesn't distract him.
Right there.
Dead on.
We will more than likely have a pair of 400s here, as Mike Poulin needed a 141, and he seems a sure thing to get that at this point.
Steve got away with one there. Now he needs to throw his favorite 1-3 pocket hit for another spare.
No.
Just barely missed. It was a nice try.
Well, the lead is 31 for Steve Vadney with 4 frames remaining. Not impossible by any means. A couple of strikes together, and that can go in a hurry.
Yeah, Mike's just got to mark out. I hope that Steve doesn't.
Oh boy. Second straight spread eagle.
Not too much you can do with that.
Jack Ray awaits the winner in the ladder championship match next week.
And he's hoping that these two guys beat themselves up so much that there's nothing left. Now Mike needs to throw strikes. Tough split. Wood isn't much help either. He's got to play it and hit somewhere around the red line or a little above it. Just didn't do anything for him.
Well, Steve Vadney has rolled 26 boxes to this point. He has had 3 9s, and everything else has been 10s and marks.
That's what you call good pinning. I see, similar hit to what Mike just had, except he broke up the whole left side.
Steve went through the whole second string with all 10s and marks. And there's another one. That's mark number 17.
Just snuck by the head pin. hit the head pin on the right-hand side. Not quite.
He had at least an outside shot at Peter Flynn's record of 482. He needed a 170 to tie it. He won't be able to do that now. But he will still have an outstanding triple.
Well, if Mike strikes out and Steve only gets 20,
we'll have a tie.
We'll have a tie. So much for that. Mike still needs a spare for 400.
Nice 10 box for
Very
Mike.
nice 10.
So he's at 385 right now. And there is a beautiful looking Brooklyn hit. 5-pin.
Wood shouldn't be a factor. Wants this for his 400.
He's got it. So he'll need a 5 on it.
And you look back, Mike really didn't miss much in this match.
And a 9 fill for Mike Poulin and a 404. But it won't be good enough.
Joins the ranks of the 400 losers.
He is the 8th bowler to
Lose with 400?
lose with 400 here on Stars and Strikes.
I know one guy who did it twice.
And you just heard him talk. Well, I know you've said that for both of these, both this match and the match upcoming next week with Jack Ray, it would take 400 to win, and you're certainly right on target with this one at least.
Yeah, Steve will have a strong 400.
It's at 437, 439.
That's a nice series.
439 for Steve Vadney. Mike Poulin with a 404, which comes up 35 pins short. Pretty frustrating. It'll be Steve Vadney and Jack Ray for the Ladder Championship. We'll be back to talk to both bowlers and go for the $130 in the bonus ball contest after these words. Back at Sandy's for Candlepin, Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown along with Gary Duffett, 439 to 404. About what we expected, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I said it was going to be a war, just that Mike happened to be on the wrong side, that's all.
A lot of marks, and really just a couple of streaks for Mike there. He had, I believe, 2 stretches of 5 boxes in a row without marks, and that really was the difference.
The big difference, I think, was strikes. Steve was throwing them, and Mike wasn't. And the double, they all add up. Steve wasn't leaving any pins standing either. I think he left 6 pins standing the whole match.
Well, let's meet both bowlers. They both certainly deserve another round of applause. First of all, Mike Poulin. Mike, come on up. And Michael from Hudson, a bunch of loot here for you. The book from Jim Fairhurst, the runner-up plaque from N&R Trophy, and, of course, the check for $100. And our congratulations. It's tough to roll a 404 and lose, I know, but you did bowl well.
I asked Gary for a couple of tips before we started. It didn't work, Gary. Steve threw some strikes. My ball just wasn't throwing strikes today, but it was a good match.
Now you and this guy are teammates, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate your coming by, and I'm sure we'll see you again. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, Mike. The $100 runner-up check for Mike Poulin, and now over on lane 31, which will have a Steve Vadney plaque on it before too long. Is for the 3rd week in a row. Steve is going to try and give us a match, and it's going to be a strike. I don't know, see, if you'd done that during the match, you would have had the record of 8, but you missed. That one doesn't count, unfortunately. We had no match for Ruth Finnegan from Haverhill, Massachusetts. Ruth's guess was a 7, so it goes up another $10, and it'll be $140 next week. And next week, Jack Ray is going to be here, and that won't be easy. You may need another $439 to win that one.
Can I just take these 3 and let him go?
You just want to post that up there and let him go? Yeah.
Right.
You really had the strike ball working. Unlike the last 2 weeks, you were throwing a lot of strikes this time.
Yeah, I mentioned to Gary, I moved back about 3 inches on the approach, and I don't know if that's what made the adjustment to make the strikes come and break up the split or not, but I'm going to try it again this coming week.
I was going to say, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, I suppose.
Right.
All right, well, Jack Ray will be here, the big money on the line, and we'll be looking forward to that match definitely 1 week from today.
Fine, thank you.
Congratulations, Steve Vadney, and once again, we will have our ladder championship match next week. We'll take a look at the ladder here one more time. Steve Vadney, in fact, you and I were talking off camera, Gary, it's been quite a while since we've had someone win 3 or 4 matches in a row. Steve has won 3 in a row, and he'll be going for 4 next week in the ladder title match.
He really looks like he's in a groove, but Jackie Ray is one tough competitor. I've seen Jackie bowl back-to-back 170 games on TV before, so I look for another explosive match next week.
And, of course, Jack had that amazing 725, as you see there in the final roll-off, which was held at Hillsborough, and a full 60 pins ahead of Mike Poulin in second place. But Steve Vadney rolls very, very well here at Sandy's. He now has won 9 of his 12 appearances. He has 8 400 triples in those 9 wins, and or I should say 7 in those 9 wins. And he has just been on a real roll, and I imagine there'll be a lot more marks scored next week as well.
Oh, I expect that both bowlers will once again be over 400 or pretty darn close to it. But it's not going to be a cakewalk for Steve by any means. Jackie is known as Mr. Smooth, and he throws a tremendous number of strikes himself. So it should be a good match.
All right, you be sure and be here. We will be here next Sunday at 12 noon here at Sandy's in Windham. Until then, for Gary Duffett and the whole TV50 Sports crew, Doug Brown saying so long, everybody.